slipperiness. How do we measure it? We can only measure this by performing coefficient of friction testing. Slipperiness itself, it can be a subjective term. Like I'm new to Alberta. This is my first winter here, and I've seen a lot of people easily walk over ice in their everyday sneakers and Crocs. If you ask me to do that, even in my winter shoes, it's an ordeal for me. So how do we assign objectivity to this subjective term is by measuring coefficient of friction. Walking is a dynamic process, so correctly we should be measuring dynamic coefficient of friction. And there are several different types of instruments, tribometers available for this objective. And individually we'll take a look at all of these equipment and their working principles. So first one, as you see in the video over here, this instrument is called BOD 3000. The guidelines are provided by ANSI, American National Standard Institute, and it's a drag sled meter. Below the device, there is a rubber sled meter, and as this rubber sled, which is supposed to represent your footwear, as it's sliding over the surface, the amount of resistance that the device faces, it's going to provide that, calculate that dynamic coefficient of friction based on that resistance. So easy to use equipment, but it's quite large. And if you're using it in corners, narrow spaces, that can lead to some issues. Second equipment, this is called English XLT. So the gas powered piston that's striking the floor, that is supposed to represent the heel as it lands during walking. The angle represents the slip index of the flooring. So the steeper the angle at which the piston starts slipping, the better the slip index for that flooring. Okay, the last equipment we will cover, it's a British pendulum. We all know how a pendulum works. Below the swing arm of this pendulum, there is a rubber sample attached, which is again supposed to represent your footwear. And as the pendulum is sliding over your floor, the amount of resistance it faces and the amount of resistance it has to overcome will be represented as your PTV value, your pendulum tested value.